Hey comic book fans, welcome to the RadioJoel Review, Episode 4, where I bring you my short-form comic reviews for everything I'm reading in Marvel, DC, and anything else. You're going to get your reviews with summary and spoilers in under 60 seconds per issue. So if you're enjoying this and you want to see other videos just like it, hit that subscribe button. Also drop a comment below and hit the like if you're enjoying this video and others like it. So let's jump right into what I'm reading this week. We start with my favorite book this week, Detective Comics 974, Night's Fall. It opens in the aftermath of Clayface's death, which is confirmed to in fact be his death early on in this book. Kate's shooting of Carlo leaves the team absolutely divided as Nightwing and Azrael side with Kate, while the rest of the team believes that there's always another way to get the job done. We then move over and get a look at Glory being healed by Dr. October. Then over to Spoiler and Tim breaking up. Spoiler believes that Tim is on a destructive path if he stays with Batman, which is absolutely true. We then move over back to Kate, who is seen with her father, who says it's time to begin the real mission. And it seems like we're going to wrap up there, but then we're taken to the last page where Ulysses Armstrong is shown looking in, and it seems like he's pulling strings here, and we don't really know what's going on yet, so I'm excited moving forward. I really enjoyed this issue. There was a lot of emotion. It advanced the plot line, and I'm sticking with it and reading the next issue. Next up, I was pleasantly surprised by how much I enjoyed DC's New Age of Heroes Sideways #1. We're introduced to a hero named Derek and his best friend Ernie. Derek has received powers from the events of Metal while he was in Gotham with his mother, and he has super strength and can rift wherever he wants in the world, basically tear open space and just move himself from place to place. Now, he gets teased a lot in school because his mom drives him in because she's overprotective after the events of Metal. But he goes on YouTube and live streams his powers without revealing his identity. But while he's doing so, he hears a voice from a being telling him to stop. Now, on the last page of this issue, he encounters this being, and he's in trouble. So stick with this issue. I like where it was going. I want to find out who this being is and why he needs to stop rifting. So talking about the events of Metal and Sideways brings me to my next issue, Dark Knights Rising: The Wild Hunt, the Metal event one-shot tie-in. Now, there's a lot that happens in this issue, and I can't cover it all in 60 seconds, so here's just a couple of highlights. It turns out that Detective Chimp and the House of Heroes are going to be key to this story. We're also going to get a chance to see in this issue that some of the Dark Knights still have some humanity left in them. Specifically, Red Death is going to turn back into Barry Allen, and he will die in this issue. And we also discover that there's a 53rd world that's going to be here and help save the day. So if this was a wild issue, if you weren't already excited for the conclusion of Metal, this will get you there. My next read this week in the DC Universe was The Flash 40, Perfect Storm Part 2. We find out in this issue that Gorilla Grodd was behind Black Hole the whole time, and that he's trying to take over Central City. He's zapped the city of their speed, and his next move is to steal Barry's Speed Force to heal his own illness, which we learned about at the end of last issue. Now, once Grodd has taken Barry's Speed Force from him with the help of Raging and Negative Flash, he carries Barry to Central City up in the air to drop him to his demise. Now, Barry gets saved by Wally West, and Barry anoints Wally as the new Flash of Central City. Now, a lot of people don't like how many Flashes are involved and when the Speed Force is so central to the storyline. I, on the other hand, really enjoy it, and I'm looking forward to see how Barry gets his powers back and how he takes down Grodd and Black Hole. Next, Action Comics 997 Booster Shot Part 5. The issue opens with a quick reminder of how Booster and Superman got lost in time, but returns us to their battle with Lorzod and the Eradicator. Then we jump over to Lois, who runs into a little bit of trouble trying to free her father from prison, and that's when John reveals himself. Now, Lois's father doesn't know about his abilities, so they keep it a little hush-hush. We then jump back to Superman and Booster being in some serious trouble as they're captured by Zod and his family, and come under fire from their heat vision, and that's where we leave them at the end of this issue. Then we move back to Lois, her father, and John trying to escape the jungle, only to be shot down. How truthful this image is, we'll find out in the next issue, but I thought that the Superman storyline was just kind of a holdover till something big is going to happen in issue number 1000, but I like where we're going with the Lois part of the storyline. Stay tuned for issue number 998. My last read from DC this week is Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps 38, Zod's Will. The issue opens at the Fortress of Zod, with Hal and Kyle captive and their rings being studied. Now, Zod's invited Hal to dinner to give his son a brief history lesson on how Krypton died and the Green Lanterns didn't do their part, but Hal disagrees and tells his son that the Green Lanterns are in fact the good guys. Now, Hal's returned to his cell because he wasn't willing to talk like a gentleman, and because his ring was forged of his own will, he's able to summon it back to him through containment and bust the two of them out of there. Now, because Kyle is so badly hurt, he's not able to make the trip on his own. So Hal gives him his ring and sends him home, where he alerts the rest of the Green Lantern Corps that Hal's in trouble. Now, I generally enjoy any storyline revolving around Zod and his family, and this one was no exception. I'll be sticking with Hal Jordan's journey and picking up issue number 39. Moving over to Marvel next, my pick of the week was Doctor Strange 385, Loki, Sorcerer Supreme Part 5. We open with Doctor Strange, Loki, and Zelma all under attack by the Void. Now, to spite Loki, the Void reveals a secret of where the exile of Sing Soon is hidden, and it turns out that it's bound to Zelma's soul. Now, Loki rips the spell out from Zelma's soul and uses it to consolidate all the magic in the world, but then redistribute it. Now, a newly repowered Doctor Strange, the Sentry, and Loki all take on and lock the Void back up. Now, the Sentry and Zelma are left feeling used, and they're going to leave Doctor Strange behind. But before Zelma can leave, she lets him know that she knows something about Loki. That Loki's tournament, making him the Sorcerer Supreme, was nothing but an illusion. So after Loki reveals this, he then disappears without revealing what his endgame is. I'm very excited to see what he's got up his sleeve and where he's going with this. Stay tuned to Doctor Strange 386. Next up for Marvel, X-Men Blue 21 Poison X Part 2. Our story picks up here with the X-Men and Venom on the hunt for symbiote-laced bounty hunters who've abducted the Starjammers. Now, quickly these two groups are locked in battle, and Cyclops ends up taking tentacles right through the chest. With Scott in critical condition, the team needs to get clear, but Venom is going to continue on with his investigation and finds out that the arms dealer supplying the bounty hunter's name is Hayes Manser. Now, the team goes and confronts Hayes Manser, only to find out that he's dealing in very aggressive symbiotes. Now, a battle ensues, and the symbiotes are knocked loose, joining and taking over the X-Men as hosts. If you're into a lot of symbiotes and the symbiote stories, you'll enjoy this issue and the storyline. If not, you can just go ahead and skip it. I enjoyed it. Moving next to the Amazing Spider-Man Annual, number 42, Bury the Leads. This is a story of Betty Brant and Peter Parker picking up on a story lead left behind by Ned Leeds, who's presumed dead. Now, Ned left Betty a message with the words Blood Creek, which leads them to uncovering a weapon that was planted near the mayor's office and the grand jury building, should under-mob boss Ernesto Carnelli ever be in real legal trouble. Now, Betty and Spider-Man disarm the weapon, and they wrap up this annual nice and neatly, until the last page shows us that Ned Leeds might actually still be alive. There's also a short story at the end about Peter's spider sense, which further complicates the things that we already know about his spider sense. And overall, I thought the stories in this issue were just okay at best. You wouldn't necessarily be doing yourself a disservice skipping it. The last book I picked up this week was Image Comics' new Kick-Ass issue number 1. The story follows a soldier named Patience who's on her way home from Afghanistan, only to find out that her husband has left her for somebody that he works with. Now, Patience had plans of going to school, but has to ditch these plans to become a waitress to provide for her family. When the waitressing isn't enough, she decides to don the mantle of Kick-Ass with her intention of using her military skills to steal from criminals. Now, she uses a tip from family members to find a crime boss, and upon being dragged into his office, she turns on the military prowess and beats down 4 men. The issue closes with Patience telling the boss to put the money in the bag. I really enjoyed this new iteration of Kick-Ass, and I'll be tuning in for issue number 2. Thanks for watching all the way to the end. This has been the RadioJoel Review, episode 4. If you want to see more videos like this, hit the subscribe button, and if you enjoyed it, hit the like button. Stay tuned for a lot more new content coming in the coming weeks.